This is the Barbecue Central Show Archives. The Barbecue Central Show airs live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and is brought to you by the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic temperature control devices, and a host of other products that make your barbecue and grilling life easier. Visit them online at thebbqguru.com or call them 800-288-GURU. And by Big Papa Smokers, creators of fabulous rubs, online retailer of grills, accessories, apparel, and creators of their own barbecue contests. Visit them online at bigpapasmokers.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, creators of injections and rubs, sweeping the nation, doing well in competitions and in the backyard. You can visit them at butcherbbq.com. And by Stephen DeFranco Jewelers, official jeweler of the Barbecue Central Show. Call 440-943-2700 and use key term Barbecue Brother when you talk to Steve, or visit them online at StephenDeFranco.com. And by Green Mountain Grills, one of the best pellet grills you can get on the market today, varying sizes, not only for your capacity of cooking, but for your budget as well. Visit greenmountaingrills.com for more information. And by El Diablo Mustard, looking for a little bit of heat and flavor in regular old yellow mustard, El Diablo has you covered. 6 different flavors to choose from currently, and you can find them at eldiablomustard.com. And by cookinpellets.com. Have a pellet-driven cooker? Why not try out some of the best pellets on the market and will not void any of your warranties, by the way. Cookinpellets.com is the website. And by Cook Shack, a premier manufacturer of electric and pellet-driven cookers, giving barbecue classes located in Ponca City, Oklahoma. Always running some kind of a special deal. Check them out at cookshack.com.
This is Chad Hayden with Moonshiners Barbecue's 19th Annual Jack Daniel's World Barbecue Champion, and this is Barbecue Central.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show, everybody. Hey, everybody. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. We broadcast live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, more than happy to have you. A phone call, 216-220-0966. You can also email the show if you would care to, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. Anything else you want to find out about the web show, of course, or the website. Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening on the show tonight, because I know you didn't get the newsletter, because quite frankly, I didn't send it. Very busy. I'm extremely busy. Got to hire an intern. But coming up on the show tonight, in about 13 minutes from now, a freshly crowned, a goal-achieving, a pitmaster success from the ground up, from the great state, and maybe I'm the only one that would ever say this, from the great state of Kentucky, Donny Bray joins us on the show to talk about winning, or who is now your reigning 2014 Kansas City Barbecue Society Team of the Year. We will get into a little bit of a recap tonight with Donny. We'll talk about winning the event, or winning the title, which he was very close to winning last year. We'll talk about the season in general, things that he might have planned for the upcoming 2015 season. The obvious question, of course, is, are you going to try and repeat? I don't think, at least in recent years, and that would probably go close to a decade, that there has been any type of a repeat Kansas City Barbecue Society Team of the Year winner. Close, for sure. But I don't know if there's ever been a repeat since I've been doing this show. Donnie has been cooking well now 2 years in a row. So the smart money would tell you that if he's going to be doing the same type of competition caseload that he did this year and the previous year where he just missed out on Team of the Year to True Bud Barbecue, literally in the last contest of 2013, that he is in prime position to be the first team to repeat, maybe ever, but definitely in a substantial amount of time in that sanctioning body. So Donny Bray joining us in about 11 minutes from now. And then coming up at 9:35, you've seen her here on the show a number of times. She's got her own spot on the website called Connie's Recipe Corner. My mom, Connie Rampy, will be joining us at 9:35 to talk about something very important. Look, when I think about Christmas, not only do I think about succulent gifts coming my way because I have been a very good boy each and every year of my life, and quite frankly, I deserve to be heaped upon with lavish gifts, monies, liquors, and the like. No illicit drugs, please. Aside from all of that, I also think about a piece of beef. A piece of beef that many people cook for this holiday of the year. A lot of people cook at all times of year, too. But as I said last year, this is something that this is something that kind of falls into the same vein for me as Thanksgiving turkey. Something that you're like, well, this year, after Thanksgiving this year, I'm really going to cook turkey more. Well, for me, it's after Christmas. I'm really going to cook prime rib more, and that's what we're going to get into, prime rib. That's it. Coming up at, so that's Connie Recipes Corner. Then coming up at the 10:14 time break, a year in review style show with host himself, Chad Ward of Whiskey Bent Barbecue. So looking forward to that. Let me introduce you to something. If you're not a native of New York for decades and, dare I say, generations, at Christmas time on Christmas Eve, 11 Alive, WPIX, both on the radio and on the TV, simulcast a Yule log, and I thought, man, I would love to bring that to the Central Lights, and this year, damn it, I've done it. So join me as I broadcast live and direct from the Yule log itself. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. 2 hours of Christmas tunes, the likes you have heard many, many times before, in front of a lovely crackling fire. Not too close. It's hot. It's hot. But I will be doing the show in front of the Yule log for the entire show with music, replete with music. So if you try and find this show in archive on YouTube, I got to admit, it's like 50-50 that this is going to get ripped because there's music playing in the background, but some schmuck put this together already on YouTube and it hasn't been ripped down, so I don't think that there's any reason that the Yule log should be ripped off of the YouTube replay of this show. But as I look back on my Utes, growing up in, born and bred in the upstate New York, Saratoga Springs, we would venture down to a economic hotbed back in the day, in the southern tier of New York State, known as Hornell, New York. Shout out to all my peeps in Hornell. And that's where Grandma LaPiana lived. That's my mom's mom. And we would go there every single Christmas. I think there was one Christmas that I remember as a kid that we didn't go there, but every other Christmas, even through college and post-college for a few years, we would go to Hornell, New York. We would have Christmas there. My cousins would come up, my mom's sisters, my cousins on that side, Scott, Bill. And every Christmas Eve, you would turn on Channel 11, WPIX, and here's what you would find on Christmas Eve, this roaring fire, these great old-timey standards of Christmas majesty, the soundtrack of Christmas, the standards, as they call it, in the music business. And this would play for 2 hours. I was talking to my father, Bill Rep. You've seen my father on the show a bunch. Shout out to Pops. There is some thought that in the beginnings, like this thing used to stretch back into the 70s, I think, maybe even earlier than that, where it could have been 4 hours long. So this thing would just show up on television. You're wrapping your gifts on Christmas Eve. You're enjoying some libations, eating some hors d'oeuvres, telling lies, and really amping up for the day that is set in front of you the following day, Christmas Day. But this was the, I mean, I remember Christmas days were great, and you get all the cash of prizes and gifts. And, of course, there was that one Christmas that ruined my life forever when my mom wrapped 70 pairs of socks, all singles, in the single sock form, because I wanted the most gifts. So she took apart all the socks and wrapped them individually. It's not funny. I've never forgotten about it. One day, Mom, you're going to get it. But aside from that Christmas, which I vaguely remember, Christmas Eve with the Yule log, with these songs, and the memories of sitting in 400 Seneca Lane in Hornell, New York, or Road, Drive, going to the Elmhurst, getting orange coolers, going to church on Christmas Eve night, listening to Father Man sing off key, "Oh, holy night, your bright eyes shining." That's how he sang. On key. Father Man was the man. And we would get home and turn on this, the Yule log, and get ready for Christmas Day. And this is a huge memory for me for Christmas. And I figure since Christmas is just a few days away, why not let me share in a tradition that I have enjoyed for years with the Centralites. So enjoy the Yule log for the full 2 hours of the show. It'll go in and out, obviously, but as guests come on, we will be rip-roaring with them as well, no pun intended, with the fire, of course. And we're off and running. All right. Folks, let me talk to you about Cook Shack. First of all and foremost, happy holidays from Cook Shack. They are so thankful for all their customers, vendors, dealers, distributors, employees. They send a special wish to all the listeners of the Barbecue Central show for the prosperous, happy, healthy, and tasty new year. Cook Shack manufactures electric smokers, pellet-fired smoker ovens, pellet-fired charbroilers, and pellet grills. They're also selling accessories, sauces, rubs, woods, and pellets to use in the ovens and grills with a variety of sizes and styles. Cook Shack can fit the needs of any customer. Cook Shack provides commercial and competition cooking classes, online recipes, and a video cooking classroom. Check out their websites at cookshack.com, also pelletcooker.com, their blog and social media groups at Facebook, on the Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, Instagram, LinkedIn. They also have a world-class barbecue forum that is moderated by the one and only Smokinokie Russ Garrett. On the competition circuit, Cook Shack pellet-fired smokers are the choice of champs. Teams from coast to coast and Canada use their smokers and pellet grills to get to the winner's circle. The FEC 100 can handle all four meat categories with ease. The Fast Eddies by Cook Shack PG 1000 and 500 are pellet grills that can smoke on the indirect side and grill on the direct side. That's right, you can do both on one. Your purchase comes with Cook Shack's unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. Buy and use any Cook Shack product, and if you are not 100% satisfied, you return it within 30 days for a refund, for a credit, or for a replacement. No questions asked. What does that mean? It means you can cook on it as much as you want for 28 days. On the 29th day, if you decide it's not for you, you can call them, you can return it back, you're going to get all your money. Come on, who you kidding? They continue to develop and improve their products with an inspiration of smokin' made simple. Cook Shack is dedicated to crafting smoker ovens for genuine pit barbecue and wood-smoked foods. They would love to share their passion for barbecue with you, so give them a call at 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698, or visit cookshack.com or pelletcooker.com. The good folks over at Cook Shack, appreciate their support this year look forward to 2015 with them for sure. We're coming back with Donny Bray of Warren County Pork Choppers. The Yule-log, all 2 hours. We're locked and loaded. It's going to be a great show. Come back for Donny Bray, and we will see you here in just a minute.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, still to come at 9:35, my mom talking prime rib. But first, someone who was oh so close last year but was able to get over the hump this year. Let's go ahead and race over to the hotline and welcome back friend of the show and your new reigning KCBS Team of the Year, Donny Bray, Warren County Pork Choppers, joining us on the show. Donny, how are you, bud?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Donny. Don't worry, in the background you hear the subtle tones of the Yule-log, which I used to listen to when I was just a youth growing up in the southern tier of New York State. This is something that played on television while we wrapped gifts and so forth. So just figured to get us in the spirit. Donny, before we get into the deconstruction of 2014 and kind of culminating into that championship that you were hoping for, do you have like favorite Christmas traditions or memories that you could share with us tonight, since we're kind of getting into that portion?
Oh wow, I guess my family's tradition has been last several years that we do Eggs Benedict and a big breakfast on Christmas morning. Even though my children's grown and now we're expecting grandchildren, I believe that's one of our biggest traditions.
Now, are you doing the Eggs Benedict boiled or poached eggs?
Yes.
And do you have a secret to poaching eggs? Because evidently, that's you would think cooking a perfectly cooked brisket is one of the hardest things to do, but evidently poaching eggs might be even harder than that.
Yeah, it definitely is. I change up all the time. Good, easy way of doing it is just do it in a bowl of water in the microwave. Does them really well, but I actually have the pans that poach them, but trying to get them to what everybody state that they like them in is very hard. I don't like poaching eggs. It's a job that I did too well 20 years ago, and I can't get out of it.
Absolutely. Traditions are a thing of beauty, and glad to see that you're carrying them on out there in Kentucky as well. All right, Donny, and we're talking with Donny Bray, Pitmaster, Warren County Pork Choppers. You know, at this time last year, we were talking about how it was just short. It came down to the last competition of the year in 2013 between you and Tim Grant of True Bud Barbecue, and you told me next year in 2014, the drive is going to be to overcome and to secure Team of the Year honors for Warren County Pork Choppers. Lo and behold, here we are all the way at the end of the year here in 2014, and you are a freshly crowned 2014 KCBS Team of the Year champ. So I guess in an overall sense, Donny, how do you gauge the year, and how do you feel being able to say, hey, this is what I want to do a year ago, and boom, here you are a year later with what your goals were?
Well, I think it's a God-sent blessing because I wanted it so bad. Getting so close with a tie with 2,940 points with me and Tim last year, and you know that finding out that there was a tiebreaker and not being able to get that point. It was a situation that I think my want for it was a blessing that I got, because this is a game of luck. There's a lot of great cooks out there, and you got to do it perfectly and then be lucky. So I did take a little advice when when I tied Tim last year. That was down in Florida. I talked with Darren with Iowa Smoky D's, and he told me, he's pretty straightforward. And he said, I know what I need to do. Or I know what I would do if I was going to try to go for Team of the Year. He said, I just cook big contests and try to win them. And I took his advice, and that was exactly what I did. I didn't steer away from the large contest, and then I was lucky to win those. And you get those max 300-point contests, and you're not having to cancel so many out. But I'm gonna put a lot of it being a blessing and lucky to get back the second year. I won't, and being persistent.
Donny Bray, Warren County Pork Choppers, joining me. Donny, when you have conversations with a guy like Darren Worth or, some of the other guys that have been up and down the roads and have won a number of times, and you get that counsel, you apply it, and then you're able to kind of get to that overall. Do you look at 2015 with a same type of a mindset? Obviously, you win it, you want to enjoy it. The easy question is going to be, is there going to be a run from Warren County Pork Choppers in 2015 to try and repeat? And as I said in the open, I can't remember since the time I've been doing the show, which has been 7-8 years, a couple years in a podcast form before that, where any team in the sanctioning body of KCBS has they've been able to string back-to-back KCBS championships. So is that something that you would like to do, or winning it now is what you wanted to do, and 2015 doesn't hold the same type of goal set?
Well, I won't mess with karma by saying I never use that term that you used. I won't even repeat it back to you. But I won't say that. I'll say I'll go out and try to be the best that I can be. I've got a new trailer that after the third one I got designed. It's really comfortable and got some new recipes that I've been working on that I'm really excited about. So I'm actually cooking my first contest January 9th. I'm cooking Denver before even the award banquet. I'm still, going to put a lot of effort in it. I don't know where I would come up, but because I know a lot of people would do the same. So I see you. I think the only way I could answer your question is you'll see me cooking that 35 to 40 contest again next year. As long as got a pretty bad back, as long as I can hold out, I think I'll continue to do that.
Donny, as you look back over the course of this year, by and large, Warren County Pork Choppers was sitting atop the KCBS Team of the Year leaderboard if you go to the KCBS website. A couple drop-offs here and there, and then there was a definitive point when the guy that you had just mentioned, Darren Worth from Iowa Smoky D's, started to prop up, and it looked like that there was a specific point where he could have decided to try and make a run for that. I did have conversation with him at that point when it looked like he was well within striking distance if he was going to try to make the run. And, to me it's always funny because you have pitmasters or teams out there that they want to do well in competitions, but maybe, Team of the Year, even if it's in sight, isn't something that they're really shooting for. If they fall into it, then, okay, yeah, we did that. And there's other teams like yourself that say, hey, we're going to go, and we were so close last year, we're going to do it this year, and you did it. Were you worried that Darren was going to try and steer in at all and try and grab that KCBS championship from you at some point later in that year?
Oh, definitely. And he had so many accomplishments this year. He won every big thing that was out there, and I got lucky about the time that you're saying where he got close. I got lucky and got a couple of wins, and that's the only. If I hadn't have done that, and it just wouldn't have happened for me. And then I had a dry streak from about the end of August. I had about 10, 12 weeks that, I had 2 or 3 really bad finishes, and then had a whole lot of seconds and thirds that, just don't give you points when you get to that. So, yes, I was very afraid of, what he would do. And he's the type of person that had he wanted that, I think he would have probably took it from me. But I don't think that his heart was in that. He was I don't think that mattered as much as it did to me. And then there was Tim coming back. And I've become good friends with Darren and Tim. And Tim was setting, and I don't know if everybody keeps up with points, but how that works. But at the end of the year, Tim had a couple of 250 points that he could knock off, and that's what you do. You keep 10, and then your lowest score is the gain, and that's all you get. And he had two 250s, which was really low. So he could have, if he'd hit a couple of 300-point contests, which is max 50 teams, then he could have closed the deal too. So I was running hard from both of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, you finished with a 29-36, which was 4 points shy of the effort last year. Iowa Smoky D's was right there at 28-52, and then the guy you just mentioned, Tim Grant at True Bud Barbecue, 28-39. So once again, a very close, hotly contested Team of the Year race. And for a guy like me, it's exciting to see it kind of year in, year out, where it's not somebody. There's been years past where somebody's gotten into late July or early August, and boom, they have run away from the field, and it's pretty much cruise control, which from a sports talk perspective is not necessarily as exciting. But I'm sure you would much rather be in that position, right, where you've run away from the field and it's a little less stressful. But from a fanatical standpoint, it's certainly exciting to see it all kind of come down to the end. When you reference the streak in August there, where you kind of went down a little bit for 10 to 12 weeks, how are you able to track maybe what's falling off, or what are you tracking that's falling off, and what kind of adjustments are you making, if any, to try and right the ship, if you will?
Well, most of the, some of the adjustments was, just try to not to go to areas that you seem to be lacking in. And there is regions of barbecue, but there's also just places that seem to be more forgiving to teams, and mine is Florida and Tennessee, Georgia a little bit, but when I seen I was having trouble, I did alter some of the places. I actually pulled out of contests to try to go to contests that I thought might be a little bit more forgiving to me. And I didn't ask for my money back or anything like that. I've done it as a donation, but I did make a couple of 3 moves this year that would be to try to get myself into position. And I just barely cracked the shell of thinking. I'm talking a lot with Tim Grant, and I mean he really thinks it out as far as for individual categories and has it all broke down. And I'm like a mule pulling a plow. I just put the blinders on and just get down and dig hard. But there's a lot of little strategic things that you can do. And I did that just a couple of times to try to get out of that. And then once I got over the hump of that little bit of a bad streak, it started working a lot better. And that came up. That didn't go straight back to wins. That started coming up into a second or third place finish, and then rode that out for a while, and then hit a couple more grand.
Donny Bray, Warren County Pork Choppers, joining us here on the show, talking about the KCBS Team of the Year win this year, your reigning champ now through next year. Donny, when you look into 2015, obviously you mentioned you're going to be trying to do a similar amount of competitions that you did this year, the year before last, too, when you were so close. You also mentioned new recipes. Typically, a team that is doing well, that has captured a number of wins, maybe has an overall championship like you got now, isn't overly anxious to go ahead and change up anything. But I guess was wondering if you couldn't give us a little insight onto maybe what you weren't satisfied with, or what you were looking to bring to the judges' table that you thought was lacking in these new recipes for next year.
Well, chicken has been something that's sort of up and down for me. Done really good. I think my chase trying to catch Tim last year switched over after Laughlin contest, switched over and started cooking legs, run that for a while, and it seemed that brought me up and got me where I was at. The legs sort of run its course. I went back to size, and then it started coming back around again, along with trying some new rubs, Simply Marvelous rubs, and some of the California stuff really seems to hit. And I got me a program going with that, with a couple of categories, and it seemed to work good here at the end. And it's not anything I feel like I've already got the program that I want for 2015. But I think you're going to see in 2015 a lot of people, as we say here in the country, there's a lot of people got into chicken houses and got the taste of blood in their mouth this year. So one really good team, Smoke Me Silly from here in Alabama, Southern team, and not to ever leave out Scott Smith from Hugh & Stewart and Bruin. He was doing extremely well, made it. And Checkered Pig, he made it up there. Wasn't even counting on points and made it up. I think he's in the third or fourth spot. But all of these teams that really sort of got that taste of blood in their mouth, I think you're going to see them, along with the people that was already trying. You're going to see one big race in 2015. So that's why I'm going ahead and getting off the porch early and get out there and it's just practice. You got to take it serious and cook every weekend.
Obviously, Donnie, another thing that you've gotten into, and I track your progress on the Facebook, not in a stalker fashion, but just as an interested person that's a fan of the team. You have the big barn that you've been kind of renovating and getting into for classes and some other things. Obviously, I believe you said you had a class coming up next month in January, maybe. And do you look to take or to offer more classes in 2015?
Well, I did 4 this year, and I'll probably do that many possibly next year. We've got 2 now that we're, and both of those I think are full. But the building that had a lot of multiple purposes, and then we didn't know that we was going to move the classroom into it, but sort of getting high tech, wanted to do something, really have a good time with that, really enjoy talking to people. It's been hard on me. Indiana and Ohio is where a lot of my students came from, and I can't cross the river no more because they give me the butt whooping I deserve, I guess. But that's the bad thing about it. But the good thing is I really, really enjoy it. So we went high tech with this, with 3D 100-inch projectors and sound systems, and just making it a really, upper end deal. And I'll do that until I get tired of it or it gets to be a burden, but I don't know exactly how much of it I'll do. I won't let it interfere with being able to stay out on the road, because that's where all my friends are, and really enjoy Friday nights and fish tacos and all the things that we do. I'm addicted to it, so I don't see me letting up until that addiction goes away.
There you go. Donny Bray is the pitmaster of Warren County Pork Choppers. He is your new KCBS Team of the Year. So close last year, able to lynch it or get it cinched down for this year finally. And Donny, as a fan of the team, as I said just a few minutes ago, happy to see you pull it out this year, and kind of great to hear you say, "Hey, we're gonna shoot to win it this year, and then win it." Now we're able to talk about it end of the year. Wish you and your family a Merry Christmas coming up here in a couple days, and good luck next year. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
You got it. There he is, Donny Bray, everybody. Warren County Pork Choppers, and a winning on the competition circuit. Not only in individual events, but, able to get the win for KCBS Team of the Year. And again, it was so close last year. And I remembered clear as a bell him saying, it's It's frustrating that we're not there this year. Going to the tie break. Literally the last competition of the year. But next year, that's the goal. We're going to come back. We're going to try even harder. We're going to refine some things, and we're going to get out there and put the pedal to the metal. Come out with a KCBS Team of the Year title. Sure enough, they did. Congratulations to Donny and team. Warren County Pork Choppers, your KCBS Team of the Year. All right, folks, if you are like me, then you're always looking to step up the barbecue and grilling game. No better or easier way to do that than by adding a little Butcher Barbecue to your arsenal. We all know that Butcher's Barbecue is well known for their injections, the pork, the beef, the prime injection, which has combined all the things loved from their beef injection using its award-winning flavor enhancer, its ability to keep your brisket juicy. They have combined it with what has become the competition standard in beef flavor, available for sale right now on butcherbbq.com. Don't forget about the Bird Booster as well. You can find that at butcherbbq.com too. Bird Booster really taking over the poultry injection universe. Now, perhaps you're looking for a go-to rub or sauce. Friends, you've hit the mother lode here as well. Butcher's Barbecue, a full line of award-winning rubs. One of my personal favorites is the steak and brisket rub. Of course, you know I love the honey rub. I am pretty much out. Greg, did you see that Lowe's, at least in my area, is carrying the mini iGrill now? Yes, I did know that. Thank you for saying that. We might have mentioned that on the show 2 weeks ago from friend of the show, John Dawson, seeing it at one of his Lowe's, believe it or not. I love the honey rub. You got to try it. Try the premium rub. Do me a favor. Try the premium rub, especially if you inject with Butcher's, because it is formulated to work with the injection, a perfect 1-2 punch to impress judges and friends alike. Last but not least, Butcher's Barbecue Sweet Barbecue Sauce. We all know when it comes to sauce, I'm very picky. Doing a little station ID behind me. Not overly sweet, a nice slice of tang, just right on the back end heat. No liquid smoke, I love that the most. Grab a box of 6, it's going to go fast. Here's what you do. You head on over to butcherbbq.com, you stock up now. Anything that totals over $200 ships for free, so you're not going to break the bank on the shipping after you've ordered all the stuff. And go to butcherbbq.com. That's butcherbbq.com. Always trust your butcher. All right, we are back with Connie's Recipe Corner. We're touching on prime rib tonight, so we don't screw the big piece of beef up. Nobody wants to do that, and we will set you straight and make sure that your prime rib is on point. Barbecue Central show on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. The two ways to get in touch with me. Thanks again to Donny Bray, Warren County Pork Choppers, KCBS Team of the Year now, freshly minted, crowned, and or otherwise. Don't forget, coming up at 10:14, Chadley Von Ward of Whiskey Bend Barbecue will be joining us. And now we will, look, don't screw up the prime rib, right? That's the mantra that I will be living and breathing come Thursday. Well, I'll probably start thinking about it tomorrow night, I'll be honest. I'm scared shitless. They got a 12-pounder that cost me $160, and I don't want to screw it up. However, luckily, we do have a expert in the industry to talk prime rib tonight. I've hit the wrong button here, and we'll get back into it. I know her as a prime rib cook extraordinaire. I also know her as a guest of the show who has her own show title, Connie's Recipe Corner. It happens to be my mom, Connie Rempe, joining us here on the show. Mom, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous. All right, now hold on a second. I got to do something tricky here. Got to add Skype video. There you are.
There I am.
Right?
I'm
Excellent.
getting feedback.
You are?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably because that damn music is playing.
Okay.
Hold on one second. I got to get another take here. There we go. I think that'll look better.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's better.
And all right, there you are. Now you're in front of the fire too. Thank goodness.
Oh, I am nice and toasty.
Yeah. Well, that's the way you need. You got to be nice. Now, do you have the Yule log going on behind you, the real Yule log, or is that just a fake fire, or what?
That's a fake fire.
Yeah. Come
All
on.
right.
Who you kidding? I know a real Yule log when I see it.
That's right. We actually do have the Yule log, but that is not it.
Yeah, that's like you have. Oh, wait.
Counterfeit.
Dad said you do have it on DVD still.
Yes, we do.
Do you hear the music underneath us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is it too annoying?
No.
No. All right. So of course it's lovely. It's WPIX simulcast, baby. Yeah.
I mean, this is Christmas. This takes me right back.
I know. Just like it was
Yeah.
yesterday. All right.
right.
All right. So here we go. The topic of the evening tonight is prime rib. Now, typically, I'm not in a position where I'm cooking any holiday meal. Usually, it's my mother-in-law. For many, of course, it was you a couple weeks ago when we were down in Sarasota cooking having a Thanksgiving with everybody. Although we did fry up some stuff together, which we talked about the last time you were on. Now,
Yes.
I don't know what other people associate dinner-wise with Christmas, but for me, I like to think of Christmas as the night of, or late afternoon, of prime rib. So I have gone to Barb and Patty's Butcher Palace in beautiful Mentor, Ohio, and secured no less than 12 pounds of prime rib succulents. And then they're like, okay, here you go. This is how much it's going to cost. And I was like, oh, no.
Panic.
I can't screw it up. So, of
Yeah.
course, I lobbed the phone call to you, and I was like, oh, my God, I just spent $758,000 on a piece of beef. What are we going
That's
to
how
do?
I always feel when I cook it. The same way. It's like
No.
panic.
All
Holy moly.
So, I guess if nobody has... This is going to be advice you should probably use for the next time you're going to prime rib. However, how do you go about figuring out how much prime rib you should buy? What's your method?
I guess what they say is a pound per person is usually good,
Wow.
or a half. It's all according. For us, we're having a 7-pound prime rib,
All right.
which is 4 bones.
Yeah.
But there are actually 3 people eating it. As, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, we're cutting off hefty chunks of
Yeah,
beef
yeah.
and then having some nicely left over for a prime rib sandwich the next day.
Prime ribs, that's right, because like turkey, prime rib is absolutely phenomenal leftover. You can do nice stuff with it.
Oh, yeah.
You could probably bread it and deep fry it if you wanted to.
I think we
We
should.
might try that, like beef fondue.
I
All right,
think
so you call your butcher and say, okay, hey, I want X pounds of prime rib. Any
Right.
other commands that you should give the butcher before you put in the final order?
Yes.
All right.
Have him cut the bone off the meat and then tie it back onto the meat.
Tie it
The
back.
bones have a lot of flavor,
Uh-huh.
but they're just a pain in the neck to have to carve through. So, have them just take it off the bone and tie it back on.
All right, and now I've always heard the closer to the bone or gives you more flavor and stuff like that. You are a believer in that. If you didn't have the bone and they just kind of left it as a hunk without bone, you don't think it would be as flavorful?
It's still going to be tasty, but we used to have it that way with just cut off the bone, and, it was good. But I think that it is more flavorful with the bone left on.
All right,
Yeah.
so you get it back home, you store it, and then now it's come time to cook.
Right.
Let's talk about pre-prep. I almost said pre-preparation. Let's talk about preparation before we get into the cooking process. What are your steps of prep, if you will?
Okay, you're going to obviously take it out of the refrigerator at least an hour before you're well, for you, maybe a couple hours before you got the
Or a
giant
day.
one. Yeah, that's right. Let it come to room temperature. I like to put Worcestershire sauce liberally all over it, and then douse it with a liberal amount of garlic powder and salt and pepper. And that's all I'm putting on mine.
All right, now,
I know a lot of people like mustards and stuff like that, but I'm kind of a purist.
what about, so, you talk about garlic powder. I forget what you were telling me to make the other night, and you told, what did I ask you? Oh, meatballs. I was making meatballs.
Oh, right.
And you said, good garlic powder. And so I have both garlic powder and garlic salt. Why do you, when or how are you delineating between I'll use garlic salt this time and garlic powder this time?
Since I'm using my own, I use kosher salt to salt it with. So since I'm using salt already, I don't need salt in my garlic. So I just use the garlic powder for the full strength garlic taste. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, so you let it sit out. You go ahead and season it up, the Worcestershire, the salt, the garlic powder. Was there anything else in there you said?
Pepper.
Pepper, right. Fresh cracked black pepper out of a mill?
Yes.
All right.
Always.
Always, right. And then that's it?
That is it.
All right, do you let it set up for any length of time, or you start ready to cook at that point?
Yeah, probably the best bet is early in the day. You can do all that so it has time to kind of soak in the flavor. But, I've also done it at the last minute, just, however much time you have. And if you, think about it or don't think about it, Christmas can kind of be a crazy day and you can be really busy. But, I usually do it maybe a little bit ahead of time while it's sitting out marinating in the nice juices.
All right, so there's a lot of different thoughts or schools of thought on how to actually cook it. Obviously, a lot of people on this show will probably be firing up some type of outdoor cooking appliance, whether it be a smoker or a grill or some hybrid or whatever. I'm doing it inside because, it's going to be cold and I'm a pussy. So what about, and I know it's changed because like years ago you were searing it over high heat initially, and I believe the cooking thing has changed. So at this point, what information cooking-wise are we disseminating to the Centralites for their prime ribs?
What I have been using the last several years and what really works well for me, and it's easier than searing it on the stovetop, is just put it, what I do before I put it in the oven is I have a nice shallow pan, and I take several sweet onions and cut them in half and lay them over the bottom of the pan. That way it's acting like its own rack.
Yeah.
And then I set the prime rib right on that and then put it in the oven at 450 degrees for a half an hour. That's going to give you a nice char on the meat. Then you don't have to pan sear it on the top of the stove. And at 450 degrees, half an hour, and then you turn the temperature down to 350. And for like a 7-pound prime rib, you're going about another hour and a half, and it should be done. Pull it out of the oven. You're going to let it rest for a half an hour before you carve it, and it should be nicely medium rare.
All right, so barbecue people, grilling people are inherently snooty with internal finishing temperatures. So, with your 7-pounder, with my 12-pounder, and this is going to be a trick question. What are you shooting for finish temperature-wise for your meat first?
I like to take mine to 110 to 115 degrees.
That's it?
That's it.
That's rare. Watch out.
Well, you know me.
I know you.
And
the more worms crawling out of it, the better.
It just walks right down to my plate.
Right.
That works for me. I don't know. I think that people want it more done can have the end pieces, and then the people that like it really rare go for the center.
So this is my lead-in question. I'm having, obviously, my family for Christmas dinner, and then we're also having Deputy Corey and his wife Becca, and then Becca's parents, Wheeze and Carol, will be joining us as well. So an extra 6 are in.
Yes.
And I don't know, what kind of temperature these people want. So should I be trying to get a medium rare inside, and then you're just basically cutting from farther outside to get the more done pieces? Or should I try and get everything, or should I shoot under in general so I'm not... what's the rule of thumb? You can't. You can always undercook something, put it back on a little longer, and get it to a different temperature. But you can't bring it back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you got that expensive a piece of beef that you have,
Yeah.
I'm never wanting to cook it until it's toast.
All right. So, probably I was thinking, and correct me if my thought process is wrong here, but I was thinking, because I'm guessing, and I'll double check here tonight before it's all said and done, that the majority of people are probably going to want, more of the medium-ish of the medium rare versus the medium rare or the rare of the medium rare. So I'm thinking like 125 degrees. Let it rest. It'll probably get up to like 130, maybe 132. And then, it's a nice medium rare in the middle. But then as you get farther out, that's going to be, probably into the 140s, 145s. I know it sounds absolutely tragic to you, of course. I can see you're crying a little bit.
Sorry, it's like, oh no, what are you doing? I don't know. That sounds like a high temp to me.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've never had mine so rare that people said, oh, I can't eat that. So, I don't know.
All right. Well, we're going to risk it, is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So, risk it in a way that you would be acceptable with, which is go a little bit lower, and if we need to, we cut pieces off and stick them back in the oven for 5 or 10 minutes.
That's right. Or pop them right out on the grill. Flash fry them out there. Give them a good turn on the grill, and that's fine too.
All right. So you're shooting for your temperature. I'm shooting for my temperature. You let it rest for a half an hour. Do you have, should you be carving out the 16-ounce slabs at that point, or just personal preference?
I usually ask people. Well, I know who wants the great big thick cuts. Your father, your brother. They're gonna have the big thick ones. Katie, not so much. Michelle isn't gonna have beef at all. I don't eat it much myself, so there you go.
Wow. All right. You just get to cook it and not eat it.
That's right. I'll have a little.
As far as side dishes are concerned, your some of your favorite side dishes to throw along with these things?
It's pretty much always the same thing.
All right.
It's going to be twice baked potatoes.
Yes, sir.
There will be roasted asparagus.
Yes, sir.
There will be a delightful Caesar salad.
Homemade.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds good. And probably some really big wines to stand up with those beefs.
Some really, really big Italian wine.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And maybe some nice crusty rolls.
Yeah. Always love crusty rolls. You can find my mom on this show giving sage cooking advice and sometimes recipes that we actually post. But this is, for immediate consumption. If you're going to be cooking prime rib in the next 24 to 48 hours, which a lot of you are, and you're going to be getting this show prior to that, you're going to thank me for getting you into the know on what the prime rib prime cooking tips are. Prime rib prime cooking tips. I'm trying to throw prime in like 50 times, and I feel like an idiot.
You bought yourself a piece of prime rib.
Yeah, I did. Anything else before I let you go tonight?
You probably want to try maybe a little horseradish sauce.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, which is basically sour cream and horseradish and little Worcestershire sauce mixed in there, and a little bit, a splash of cream.
Splash of cream. All right, we'll try that out. I know Becky is real into that. I don't care about that shit so much, but
it's not for me either,
she'll go ahead and make that up, and I won't see you in person for Christmas, so I wish you Merry Christmas. We'll talk on Christmas Day, and tell everybody I said hi down there.
I will.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Mom.
Love you, honey. Bye-bye.
There she is. Love you, too. Bye, Mom. Talking about prime rib stuff. Is anybody from New York and knows this WPAX log that we're listening to right now?
Interviews.
Is anybody? I was really hoping that somebody would know that. Nobody said anything. There is an art to medium well. Wow. Patrick. I don't know about that. Public service announcement to all the barbecue brothers and sisters from our show sponsor, Stephen DeFranco of Stephen DeFranco Jewelers, who is also a self-proclaimed barbecue junkie. Christmas is coming in less than 48 hours. What to get dear old dad? New clothes that he won't wear at last minute? No. New shoes that he'll cover in barbecue sauce? No. A new tie? Forget it. Stephen DeFranco Jewelers has the perfect answer. A new watch. Steve has an incredible selection of watches that would be perfect for dear old dad. Bulova watches. Why spend a ton of money on a watch if you don't have to? Bulova watches are stylish, affordable, starting under $200. Come in traditional quartz styles and retro-styled automatic versions. Chronographs, skeletons, and traditional styles fill the Bulova line of timepieces. Bulova Precisionist. Want the most accurate watch in the world? Bulova Precisionist is that watch. The exclusive movement of the Bulova Precisionist breaks down the second-hand movement into 16 segments per second, giving the second-hand a smooth-moving appearance. Steel titanium versions also available as well. Then you have the Accutron, the high-end without the high price. Cadillac of the Bulova line, the Accutron is the pinnacle of high-end design without breaking the bank. Are you a gadget junkie? Citizens is perfect for the gadget guy. EcoDrive technology converts light into energy, powering your watch perfectly and accurately. Need a timer for your barbecue cooking? Some Citizens have multiple timers along with alarms and multiple time zones. And of course, you have Philip & Company making high-end European-style watches right there on the west side of Cleveland. All watches from Stephen DeFranco come with the exclusive watch performance package that includes a 1-year extension of the manufacturer's warranty, free engraving, free watch batteries for life, and free polishing. He'll even set the time for you, shipping at no charge. It's just that easy. Go to the website, pick out what you like, StephenDeFranco.com, then give him a call, 440-943-2700. That's 440-943-2700. Tell him you are a barbecue brother or sister, and he'll give you the real discounted price for the new watch. It's not allowed by the manufacturer to show the real discounted price on his website. Call him, ask for him, save money, use him, even if you're not in the greater Cleveland area. I know a lot of people well outside of this area that use Steve for all of your jewelry buying experiences. You'll be happy that you did. StephenDeFranco.com. Stephen DeFranco, DIFRANCO.com. We are back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. We will be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we are back. This portion of the show is brought to you by cookinpellets.com. Your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cooking. Visit cookinpellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit Amazon.com to purchase as well. That's Amazon.com. Or cookinpellets.com. All right. Coordinating interview logistics with one Chad Ward. Chad, I will call you at the number that you sent me. Thanks again to my mom for coming on this past segment, talking all things prime rib. Over the time of years and time, not to be redundant, I've found that on things like prime rib, maybe beef in general, that the less aggressive the flavor profile, sometimes the more reward that you get in the overall flavor, because you are tasting the beef, tasting the meat flavor. You're not masking it or getting it overtaken by anybody else's specific rubs or seasonings or anything like that. Plus, if you're going to enjoy the beef with a fine wine, I'm going to be enjoying a Childress Petite Syrah. That's right, a Petite Syrah from the Childress Vineyard. I don't know if I want a blast of spices and salts and sugars running over my palate that might affect the flavor amalgamation in my mouth with the wine and the beef. You know, a little salt, a little pepper, maybe a little garlic powder, or forego the two stages, and I guess suppose you could use garlic salt, and cook it up just like that. Again, the directions 450 for 30 minutes, then reducing heat to 350 degrees for a 7-pounder. You would cook an additional hour and a half, so total cooking time of 2 hours. Some people are arguing that my mom's finish temperature a little low in the 115, 120 range. I don't know if I'm going to disagree or agree with that, but mine's going to be higher because, I got other people. So you cook it how you like. I see some people saying 115 is good. I see one people saying 130 is what they're shooting for. You cook it how you like it. These are just general guidelines, and we will move from there. We're going to load up for the second hour. Chad Ward from Whiskey Bend Barbecue in the Pit and Whiskey Bend Barbecue Competition Cooking Team will be joining me. You are watching and listening to the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Networks. We're going to reload. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stick around. We'll be right back.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand? From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
This is Jim Minion from Two Loose Screws. I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish! What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. You are watching and listening to the Barbecue Central show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. We broadcast live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here for the second hour of the show. If you missed the first hour, never fear, there's a number of different ways to catch the show after the fact when it's aired live every Tuesday from 9 to 11. One of the easiest and most popular ways is to head on over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. That way, for the audio archives, you can find the video archives through YouTube. You can also find the video archives through OutdoorCookingChannel.com. If you have Roku or some other kinds of Internet Protocol television, open up the app stores in those particular IPTV devices. Search for Outdoor Cooking Channel. If you're lucky enough to have it in your app store, get it. It's free. And then you can have access to the live stream of Outdoor Cooking Channel. Plus, you can watch this show live every Tuesday from 9 to 11. And you also have access to the full video archives of Outdoor Cooking Channel through the Roku as well. So, absolutely fantastic. Never any reason you should ever miss anything from the show live. And if you've never watched the show live, if you are only watching through podcast or video archive or, however you're consuming the show, make it a date for 2015 to get on the show live for once in your life. Come on. Can't you do me one favor? Let's all get together. I'm going to make a watch party note on the Facebook and on the Twitter, and we're going to try and really put the wood to the bandwidth one night and see if we can't get like 250,000 people watching the Barbecue Central show at the same time. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. If you have a favorite Christmas memory or a favorite Christmas tradition you would like to share this evening, more than happy to have you call in and give me a quick shout. 216-220-0966. Or go ahead and email me, Greg, Greg, at thebbqcentralshow.com. We are doing prime rib on Thursday. We are doing kind of, not diced, but quartered baking potatoes and roasting them in the oven. We're doing shrimp cocktail. We're doing cheese and pepperoni and cracker platter. We're doing green bean casserole. We're also doing cheesy potatoes because we're just crazy. What is on your menu, I ask? You tell me. Greg, to be honest, half the fun of this show is the community in the chat. Guess what, Matt? You are absolutely 100% correct. What have I always said about the chat room on this show? As a host, I have to do my due diligence and make sure that I don't get lost in the tomfoolery and shenanigans that go on in the chat room. Because, quite frankly, it's just easy for me to start talking, giving a take or something I have actually done work and prepared for the show, and then I start to read the stuff in the chat room, and I get lost, and all of a sudden somebody's stopped answering a question, or I've lost my train of thought, or who knows what happens down there. But absolutely, there are a core group of people that number into the 60s and 70s and 80s that come in and take part in this show, watching it every week, giving their takes and unsolicited comments and questions and stuff, some that I can mix in. So, again, if you've never been able to take in to the show in its live state, head on over to OutdoorCookingChannel.com on one Tuesday between the hours of 9 and 11, and you will be more than surprised at the family that has come to grow and bang around on each other and nurture and have fun at one's expense at the chat room. And I would love to have you come and join me live, because as I always say, this show happens live. Everybody that's listening to this show right now from 9 to 11, it's unedited. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows if I'm going to screw up or if a circuit is going to trip and the whole friggin' show is going to shut down, or I'm going to piss off a guest and they're going to start screaming me down, although that hasn't happened yet. But it could. I guarantee it's going to happen at some point. I'm going to say something wrong and somebody's going to take issue with it. And now we've got a fist fight on our hands in the audible sense. That's the fun of the live thing. You're hearing it and listening to it along with me. It's not the same tomorrow when you're listening to it on archive. I mean, sure, you have no idea what it's going to be like, but something could have slipped out on Facebook, and now you are getting it. You've been prepped for what's going to happen. Everybody here in the chat room has no idea what's going to happen. We don't know. I might whip out a game of porn star or athlete. I mean, who knows? You can't win that if you listen to the show on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. You can only win if you listen on Tuesday. That's right. So there you go. Again, the easiest way to get the Audible archives is going to iTunes and subscribing to the show that way, but a number of different ways that you can consume the show as well. One other thing, I was going to mention it, and I don't remember if it came out last Wednesday or Thursday or, whatever, station break. I don't remember exactly when it was, but there was this movie called The Interview with James Franco and Seth Rogen, I believe, and the premise of the show is that they were trying to be contracted to go kill Kim Jong-un. I think that's the son. Is it Il or Un? I mean, who knows? But it's one or the other. One's dead, one's the ruler. I think it's Kim Jong-un. And lo and behold, Sony had taken the picture down. They were not going to show it. Usually, I think pictures would come out on Thursdays or Fridays or something like that. I was baffled as an American that a studio would cave to any type of pressure that the likes of North Korea would put on it. North Korea? South Korea laughs at North Korea, unless I'm mistaken. So, for us to be pulling movies, I thought set a horrific precedent to the world about where we stand as a nation. If North Korea can threaten the United States of America to the point where they're not going to show a movie, not even real, of two guys who probably couldn't get out of their own way in real life, James Franco and Seth Rogen. The more that I'm reading about it now and learning about it, maybe it wasn't exactly how it was spelled out, but man, initially, I was very disappointed that if somebody's saying, don't play this, I mean, what's next? We're going to be bullied by the likes of, who knows who? France? No! If I'm not mistaken, we shut down North Korea's internet for like a whole day or something. Allegedly. I can't prove that. I have no insight. I don't. Oh, this is one of my favorite jams. Listen to this one, right? Is anybody familiar with the Yule log? I know I've asked this a couple different times. Let me scroll up through the chat room here. No. Is anybody from New York remember WPIX? The Yule log. What's the one gift you want for Christmas this year? Weigh in as we get ready to load up Chad Ward from Whiskey Bent Barbecue, host of Whiskey Bent Barbecue in the Pit. Rob Bass, you are absolutely right. Who knew they even had internet a month ago? I didn't know. The guy's busy killing uncles, aunts, and cousins. I would just imagine they didn't have internet. That's what I figured. No internets. No worldwide internets. North Korean internets. That could be pretty bad. Pretty restricted from what I understand. All right, folks, let me talk to you quickly about the longest-running sponsor of the show, located in Warminster, Pennsylvania, the Barbecue Guru. Gang, if you've been thinking about buying an automatic temperature control device for your cooker, stop here. This is the company that has started it all. They are the creators of this technology. Why would you buy from anybody else? I don't know. I don't know why you would. Not familiar with how these little beauties work? I don't get into the minutia, but imagine a product that allows you to set your pit temperature, and once set, keeps it running right there all the way through the cook. Sounds too good to be true? It's not. It's real life. You can take advantage of this technology today. Literally today. Get it rush shipped to you. Maybe you can give it to somebody for Christmas, for crying out loud. Maybe you're a busy working professional like me, or perhaps you are constantly on the run with kids and doing errands, and you just don't have the time to sit around and tend pit temperatures. I get it. The Guru allows you to throw on a pork butt or a brisket or a couple slabs of ribs, and then you're off to do whatever it is you need to get done, and the Guru maintains that barbecue pit temperature you set it at. Currently, a number of different models to choose from: the CyberQ Wi-Fi, the CyberQ 2, the DigiQ DX2, the newest unit, the Party Q, at $149 for most cookers. The Party Q is the easiest point of entry into pit temperature control devices. It is a self-contained package. It runs on AA batteries. It can go from this kind of cooker to that kind of cooker with relative ease. If you're in the market for a cooker, by the way, look no further than the Onyx Oven. The Onyx Oven has been winning on the competition circuit as well as in backyards all over the country for years now. It's fully insulated, holds a good amount of meat, accommodates half and full pans for food service, works seamlessly with any of the Barbecue Guru temperature control devices. A win-win situation right there. Do yourself and me a favor. Head on over to the BBQ Guru, GURU.com, and check out all their products. If you have any questions about what to order, don't hesitate. Call them directly, 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. They will make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. 800-288-GURU or thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru continues to remain a breakthrough in barbecue technology. Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent Barbecue, and Whiskey Bent Barbecue in the Pit. coming up in just a few minutes. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. 2 ways to get in touch with me, should you see fit. My next guest, a award-winning pitmaster, a barbecue and grilling entrepreneur businessman, and a barbecue and grilling host that precedes my show, Whiskey Bet Barbecue in the Pit. Let's go ahead and race over the hotline. And welcome friend of the show, Chad Ward, joining us here. Chad, how are you?
Hey, Greg. How are you tonight, buddy?
I am doing absolutely fabulous. Chad, you're probably not as steeped into the New York subculture as I am, but tonight on the video, we have a wonderful Yule-log playing that I used to watch for, 20 years, 25 years. A TV station in upstate New York would play it. Well, I guess it came out of New York. They would also simulcast on the same namesake radio station. I was like, man, I'm bringing it to the Centralites tonight. So I'm broadcasting in front of a fire with succulent tracks of Christmas holiday majesty behind me. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, obviously, if you learned that in your childhood, that's something that Bill Rempe imposed on you.
Yeah, well, you're imposed is right, Chad.
Hey, if Bill Rempe brought it into you, I'm a full-fledged component of it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got to send you the link so you can get all up on the Yule-log from WPIX as well. All right, Chad, so obviously you're very busy. You're in the store today playing Grill Claws and Santa Smoker and, what other stupid names we can try and make up right off the top of our head. But 2014 rapidly coming to a close. I remember saying that in February, and everybody was laughing at me, but here we are in the precipice of 2015. So as we look back, if we can kind of do a little bit of a look back on the 2014 barbecue season, I just had the newly crowned champion of KCBS, Donny Bray of Warren County Pork Choppers, as a fan of competition barbecue, as a person who takes part in competitions and numerous sanctioning bodies during the course of the year. Your take on Donny Bray's securing of the 2014 KCBS championship and his season this year?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, Donny, finishes right. Him and Tim go neck to neck last year. And, to come down to, their 14th grand, to figure out who was going to be KCBS Team of the Year in 2013 said something for Donny already. And then to come out in 2014, and it may have changed hands once or twice. I don't know if it did. But, honestly, Donny ran it from wire to wire. If you look, he set the tone right down here in my hometown of Lakeland, Florida at, Lakeland Pig Festival. Huge contest. Everybody, you've got a lot of great local teams from the IPC, from all over Florida, but then also all the guys trying to get out of the cold. And you have guys that don't cook a lot come out, like, Fast Eddie. Guys like that Lakeland Pig Fest is a tough contest. And Donny set the tone, man. He came down here and he damn won it. And I don't think he looked back from that point on. And, for you guys that have never met Donny in a contest, one of the nicest dudes you could ever meet. Go up, introduce yourself, shake his hand. For as much as he's accomplished in barbecue, one of the most humble and giving back guys I've ever met.
Yeah, and really what he's accomplished has only been in, 2 or 3 years. So he's been able to jump right in and really see a lot of success given the short amount of time.
Yes, he has, and it's one of the cooking classes that's on my short list for 2015, is because I think if you look at this as a little bit of not just a hobby but sort of a profession, as I've started to make it, you always want continuing education. And while I've talked to people that have been to Donny's class, I haven't asked for details because I kind of feel like that's proprietary information that you should pay for. Every one of them walks away and says, man, the way this guy looks at the game is a little bit deeper than everybody else. Really getting down to the meat science and some of those things. So while he is really blazed onto the scene in the last 3 years, he obviously came at it, pretty well educated.
Chad Ward, Whiskey Bend Barbecue in the pit host, Whiskey Bend Barbecue pit master for the team side of things, joining me here on the show. Chad, there was a definitive point in the year where some up-and-comer named Darren Worth from Iowa Smoky D started winning everything in sight, multiple in a row for a week, and I was looking at the standings, and I was like, man, Darren is either consciously or subconsciously creeping up on number one for KCBS Team of the Year to a point where there was enough time in the season left where if he wanted to focus on that, he could probably have made a run, and the way he was cooking probably could have chased it right away from Donnie. And I had reached out to Darren, and I said, hey, don't know if you've noticed, but you've won 2 or 3 in a row. There happen to be some pretty big contests. We got about 2.5, 3 months left of the season. You're going to make a run at Team of the Year? And he texts me back. He's like, no, not in the cards. So, as somebody who's a competitor like yourself, and you've had Darren on your show a couple times, and you've probably been around him in person, as I have a few times, are you surprised that when it was right there to pursue that he was still like, this isn't what we're going after, this isn't what we're about in 2014, and if it happens, it happens, but we're not going to run at this point?
All right. Well, my perception of it, and this is, and I've got to, this year I probably got to spend more time, BSing with Darren and hanging out with him than I ever have, and great guy, him and Sherry are really good folks. So this is just my perception of it, not any direct discussion we've had or anything, but, him and Shad have created a really, really successful business with Iowa Smoky D's. And to me, that has to take precedent. If you've got huge caterings and these type of things, you can't be out chasing points at a $5,000 contest in Kansas City, when you've got a 1,200 person catering that has to be out at, 11 a.m. on Monday morning. So I can understand when he says it's not in the cards, it's not in the cards is, to me, it's almost like Tuffy. Tuffy cooks and Darren cooks a bigger schedule than Tuffy, a way bigger schedule.
Way big.
And travels more, etc. But to me, it's one of those things where he said, hey, this is the schedule we set, and regardless of what happens, it's what we're going to stick to because it's what works for us as a family, and it's what works for our business. And I can respect that because I could see getting really, really caught. I could see saying that in February, but then being in the midst of it and getting so worked up that you say, I got to go for it. So I respect Darren as a businessman and just as a person to say, no, it's not in the cards. It's not what we planned on doing. We're going to stick to our plan and just, keep on doing our thing.
So you had Warren County Pork Choppers taking the victory. You had Darren Worth from Iowa Smoky D's finishing second again. He finished second to Rod Gray in 2009 after a very hotly contested Team of the Year run, which a lot of people remember. Obviously, it was hotly contested last year between True Bud and Warren County. Warren County saying that they wanted to come back this year and win, which he did.
He did it.
When you look into 2015, Donnie said on the show an hour ago that they're going to cook the same number of events. He's learned a few things as far as, I don't know if honey holing would call it, would be the right term, but look at big competitions, and if he's in a shorter one that isn't going to do him good that weekend, pull out, go somewhere else, as he did a couple times this year to give himself the best shot. Do you see him as a legitimate threat, cooking the same amount, if not more, competitions as being maybe the first team, well, at least in 10 years that I can remember, of repeating a KCBS championship bid?
I will tell you what, I think it is very likely. I would, if I were in Vegas, he would probably be the guy that's the odds-on favorite. But at the same time, I will tell you, maybe Darren and Sherry take a different stance with their schedule this year. But because they're so hot, maybe they add 4 or 5 contests. And I'll tell you another one to keep an eye out for, and it's the guy you introduced me to and cost me my goatee 2 years ago, Greg Rempe. And that is, Tim Grant cooked well this year over at True Bud. But, he told both of us from the get-go that he was going to slow it down in 2014, because they ran so hard in 2013. But he may be primed up to make another hard run. So I think between those 3 guys, and I'll tell you one more, if he could get the time off from work, and it'll be interesting to see what he does. He told me he was going to try to get creative this year, but you gotta watch Travis Clark from Clark Crew Barbecue.
Yeah.
That guy, when he shows up, he's a legitimate contender every single weekend. So, if that's a guy that could put 20, 24, 25 contests together, he could be tough to beat too.
Were there any teams this year that you didn't know anything about or that you knew about but were kind of, mediocre at best that jumped out as having a breakout season to you?
Greg, I can't say that because, being the barbecue professional that I am, I'm trying to find those sleeper picks day in and day out. So, to shock the Mel Kiper Jr. at barbecue, you cannot do. But no, it was interesting to kind of watch everything unfold. A couple of teams that, had done, I look over at American Dream. Those guys have been good cooks the last couple of years, but had a really strong Team of the Year finish. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's some teams that were good cooks, kind of raised to the area of great cooks this year.
Have you seen some teams that have been perennial tip of the tongue mentions over the last 4, 5, 6 years that might still be doing it or looking to do it that are maybe on the tail end?
Tail end, I don't know because I'll tell you it's hard to say that because what I think about things is you can be towards the top for year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years. And sometimes that flavor profile just quits. But because you've been on top for that little bit of time, you don't want to let go of it right then. And so while I don't think really anybody that's been in that top 25 KCBS is on the way out or tailing out, it may be time to maybe look back, and if you've been working on that plan B and you've been talking to guys you cook against every weekend, you may want to start making some changes. And I'm talking about this as a competition cook that's been through that. 2009, 2010, 2011, great years for us. 2012, not so good. We found that, with our flavor profiles and the small tweaks we were making, 2012 it fell on deaf ears. Until later in the year when we made some pretty wholesale changes. And then it kind of picked right back up. But, so for me, I think anybody that's got a passion for it and really isn't too super set in their ways can't be tailing out.
Chad Ward was
and that sounded so political for Chad Ward. I'm sorry.
I understand. You don't want to name names because you got to keep people coming on the show. I get it. Chad Ward, Whiskey Bend Barbecue in the pit, joining me here in the show, Pitmaster Whiskey Bend Barbecue competition team. Chad, as far as things that you didn't expect, the flavor profile changes or I said changes, flavor profile changes or rubs that came out of nowhere or sauces that came out of nowhere. Some of the biggest hitters that kind of entertain that left field arena, if you will.
I'm going to tell you what, man, there's a sauce out there right now that has kind of flew under the radar. I'll have it in the store in about a week and a half. There's a couple other online retailers that have it right now. I've been using it for a bit, and I know some of the, it's won a ton early on, and that's our buddy Russ over at House of Q with his granny sauce. Him and John have put together a really, really good vinegar-based sauce that has won a ton in KCBS.
Vinegar-based.
And I will say, unannounced, has won pretty well in FBA. But to me, that granny sauce is a thing that's going to take off in 2015 because it really had a very good launching point in 14, but it was kind of that whole inner circle discussion. You know, you got a hold of some, you tried it, you test coach with it, and you're like, man, I want to try this in a contest, and boom, it's a top 3. Oh, a first place. It's a very, very good sauce. To me, that is the up-and-comer in 2014, and it will be the big deal in 2015.
Let me ask you one other quick question here before we transition into some last-minute holiday gifts, since you're also a barbecue and grilling store guy as well now. When you look at the current FBA Team of the Year, Jim Elser of Sweet Smoke Q, really close at winning it the year before last, current champion now, currently leading the current season of FBA, probably has just as good a shot as anybody in the top 3 or 4 in FBA right now as winning and repeating for FBA. This guy cooks a lot. He's a very good cook. He wins a lot. He's good in each sectional category as well. Do you think that he would have a shot at, and I'm asking you to speculate, and it's very unfair for me, but I don't care. It's my show. If there were more KCBS events that he could get to, do you think legitimately he could have a shot at running the table on both sanctioning bodies?
No. I don't think he could run on both sanctioning bodies, and here's why. And I've said this before on my show, and I've said it on other shows, and I think actually we talked about it last time I was in Vegas before the WFC when you had me on the show last time. You cannot win FBA Team of the Year unless you commit yourself to cooking 25 to 35 contests a year. So if the FBA ever gets rid of this antiquated Team of the Year system and does something like KCBS where they say we're going to take your top 12 or your top 10 or your top 15 contests of the year, nobody, not even friggin' Superman, can run the table in both sanctioning bodies because there's just not enough weekends, Greg. So I would love to see that if the FBA wanted to do it. The other problem is right now, I just think unless Jim or Matt, because the other person you can't sleep on is Matt Barber from Hot Wild Chulas.
Right.
Any of those guys that have finished, Team of the Year the last couple of years, unless they decide to quit their job and just go compete full time, it would be hard to run both tables, even if the FBA did back it down. Because I'm looking at an aggressive schedule for next year. 26 contests, and I want to cook a lot of KCBS. And the best I can do traveling from Florida is about 12 to 15 without just killing yourself. And that's because we don't have a lot down here in Florida. We've got Pig Fest, we've got Plant City, and now we've got one that Arlie Bragg's going to be putting on in Kissimmee. So that's really only 3 in the state. So I think it would be tough for anybody to do that the way the current FBA Team of the Year format is, and just the lack of density of KCBS contests in the state of Florida.
Chad Ward joining me here on the show. Chad, Christmas coming up here in just a couple days. Obviously, you're doing very well in the retail location. I have another follow-up question before I asked, or after I asked this one. But what's flying out of the stores right now, and if somebody has been very neglectful and procrastinatic on the gift-giving suggestions before the big day hits?
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that flies off our shelves the most is instant read thermometers. And we sell the Maverick. I personally prefer the Maverick over the Thermopen. I'm sure I'll piss a lot of people off by saying that. But the Maverick is more well lit to me, and I think it's a hair bit faster. I've been, I own Thermopens for years. When I opened the store, it was a lot easier to do business with Maverick, but I took my Maverick and my Thermopen to contest for, a year, and I just prefer the Maverick. But any instant read thermometer, I think, is the best gift idea for anybody that loves to be, barbecuing and grilling. Because here's the problem, Greg, and I talk about this. I go on the local radio pretty regularly, and, people call in and ask questions. And my thing is, people cook too much to time. You have to cook to temperature, because every day the environment changes, whether it be humidity, whether it be temperature, etc. and that can be a couple of minutes. So you got to cook the temperature.
Last question before I let you go tonight, Chad. Appreciate the time as always. Matt in the chat room wants to know that since you've seen such wild and crazy success with the retail store, if you are going to step up out of the basement of beers and get into something a little bit more highbrow.
No, absolutely never.
Damn right.
When you go to a barbecue contest and you see a beer in Chad Ward's hand, it'll always be a Natural Light.
Yeah, I mean...
And there's purpose behind that, Greg. Natty Light is the one beer that you can drink, 12, 14 of at a contest on Friday night and wake up at 5 a.m. ready to put ribs on. I think it's got like 0.8% alcohol. Obviously keeps the bladder working well. It's just Natty Light's a great sipping, socializing contest beer. So, no, unless somebody wants to throw some, I take that back. We're working on a potential sponsorship deal up there in Ohio that would bring me up there to cook all four of the Ohio contests this year with Great Lakes Brewing.
Yeah.
And if that were to happen, yes, you could see me at a contest sipping on a premium brand beer such as Great Lakes Brewing Company's products.
Like a Dortmunder Gold, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, or an Elliott Ness.
Hey, those guys are really cool up there, and we're really hoping to get the deal done because, their products are. I mean, they're so good. And you know my buddy Matt over there at Case Western. He is their number one keg consumer inside of a 4-state region.
Wow, really?
Yeah, Case Western.
People at Case Western are drinking more beer than Ohio University? Bullshit.
Dude, hey, they are building rocket ships and consuming mass quantities of Great Lakes Brewing Company product.
Well, good news. I don't want to get any rocket ships anymore. Well, okay, we're aced out of that. Chad Ward is the pitmaster of Whiskey Bent Barbecue Competition Cooking Team. He is the host of Whiskey Bent Barbecue in the Pit, which precedes this show every Tuesdays from 7 to 9. Chad, always appreciate the time. Happy holidays to you, my friend, and we will talk soon.
Can I have two things on the way out?
Yeah, go.
One, if you haven't shopped us before, whiskeyBentBBQSupply.com, shipping all over. And I'll tell you, I think we got some of the best shipping rates out there online. Second one is, if I recap the Whiskey Bent 2014, one of the best things that happened to us is something you spurred on.
Ooh.
And Kevin Bevington facilitated, and that was making the move from the phone. I believe you called it the chat party hotline over at Blog Talk Radio to the Outdoor Cooking Channel. So, Kevin, Greg, thank you guys for that. Want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And, Greg, to you and yours, man, happy the holidays, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate it. There he is. Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent Barbecue. WhiskeyBentBBQSupply.com is the storefront online house if you want to check that out. Got any supplies needed? Chad is your guy. He will help you out. Oh, sorry. Fireplace. You get Chad out of there. Man, he's right. That was the best move he ever made as a host. Getting off that crap Blog Talk Radio where he was miring in mediocrity for those people. Yuck. And now gone. Now back in the varsity playing field. OutdoorCookingChannel.com. Coming before my show, leaving me an audience. Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm like the cleanup hitter. Chad's the number 3 that can really take the ball deep so they don't know if they need to pitch to him or pitch to me. It's a win-win in any situation. WhiskeyBentBarbecueSupply.com. All right, folks, let me talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop shop for anyone interested in barbecue, featuring a comprehensive selection of American-made grills, spices, sauces, accessories, even a kit that gives you everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Papa Smokers has made a name for itself by making an award-winning line of championship rubs. They've won almost every major competition barbecue event, including the 2012 and 13 World Series of Barbecue in Kansas City, 2012 and 14 Jack Daniels, 2013 Kingsford Challenge, 2014 Houston Livestock and Rodeo. Many more have happened this year as well. BPS also banded together with fellow California-based rub supply company Simply Marvelous Barbecue to what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. See it right here. The West Coast Offense is defying conventional wisdom. These two California-based rub companies have cornered the market on competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profile of competition cooks from across the country. They've even created two of their unique competitions. The King of the Smoker, which took place a week ago, brings the best of the best in barbecue in a back-to-basics competition. King of the Smoker, unique in the fact that contestants may not use any electric devices such as pellet cookers or pit minders. Only they are allowed to use charcoal wood and their wits to win one of the highest stake barbecue competitions around. The other event is the Guinea Pig, which is a cost-controlled competition that helps bring in newcomers to the competitive barbecue world. It also features prize distribution all the way down to 10th place in each category, which helps provide incentive to get new competitors into the world of barbecue. Imagine that. One of the top teams, Big Papa's, has also created a unique brand ambassador program, the BPF Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind that Big Papa Smokers has been able to do all this with only 4 years of being in business, turning competition barbecue well on its head, creating their own unique competition, becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain, and benefiting children's charities across the U.S. It is just the beginning for Big Papa Smokers. The website, bigpapasmokers.com. That's bigpapasmokers.com. We are back with a open segment. Love to hear from you. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Who would have thought this music thing was going to go this far? I never asked for this. I never asked for this fast living. The women, the whiskey, craziness. There's whiskey in my soul. Hey, Bert, let's go.
I've been drifting down that open highway, finger in the air, cause I do things my way. The next town's where I call home.
Yeah.
I throw a shot glass down and a light up a smoke. Always raise a little hell, never do what I'm told. I was born with that whiskey in my soul.
Put me in the dirt with my bottle and my glass, with a marble headstone saying I was a badass. Born on a bar stool, still living fast.
We're back. Sorry, ran upstairs to refresh a drink. Ran out of time. Once again, if you are just joining us, or me, you'll notice that I am broadcasting live. Greg, that should be Chad's intro music from now on. All right, duly noted. Except I play it every week, Matt. Thanks again to Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent Barbecue, WhiskeyBentBBQSupply.com if you want to check his brick and mortar / online store presence out. Let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. BentBBQ.com. Make sure I put that in right. And this is what it looks like right here. There he is, Whiskey Bent BBQ. In the pit, Whiskey Bent Barbecue Supply is right here. Look, there's me down at the right-hand side. So anything that you would like, he's got the hours of operation. There we go. Now you got products here, Whiskey Bent BBQ. All the name brands that he's carrying, the new products, top products, promotions, all that good stuff can be found right there on the Whiskey Bent Barbecue website. So appreciate Chad coming on tonight and recapping some of the high events of 2014. All right. That store sucks in person. It's only like every rub or sauce you could only need. That's right. It's the worst. Again, if you're wondering why I'm sitting in front of a fire, this is what I grew up to watching on Christmas Eve, which is tomorrow. the Yule Log, which showed up on Channel 11 in New York. It also simulcast on WPIX FM stereo and ran for 2 hours, this fire, which never seems to die down, even though it ran for 2 hours. We all know that's crazy. But I appreciate it. Plus, it's got a tremendous coal bed. I'm going to duck out of the way. If you're watching on video, I mean, wouldn't you love to have that coal bed to feed into a barbecue smoker? I mean, absolutely you would. You know you would. All right. Hold on 1 second here. All right. Joining me now. Don't touch the microphone. Joining me now to talk about what. That's the wrong thing right there. What kids want for Christmas this year is somebody that I know pretty well. I've seen her around here and there a little bit. I got to get your picture set up here. I got to get your picture set up. Oh. What is going on with this? All right. I got to put you in front of the fire. Don't touch it. It makes terrible noise. All right. This is Maddie May. Maddie!
It's me.
What are you doing?
I'm on your show.
All right. So I'm interested. There's a lot of people here that have kids that listen to the show, and quite frankly, some parents might be a little out of the know when it comes to what kids want these days. So first and foremost, how old of a kid are you, Maddie?
I'm 11.
You're 11? 11 years old?
Yeah.
You are?
Me.
My God. Where's the time gone? All right, so in what grade are you in?
I'm in 6th.
6th grade. All right, here we go. So what are the popular gifts that kids are looking for these days? For the parents that are out there frantically going, I don't know what to get Susie, Tim, or Bill. What should I get? As being a, how old are you?
11.
11-year-old 6th grader. What are like the hot gifts to help everybody out here last minute?
A phone, shoes.
But wait, like a cell phone?
Yeah, like a cell phone.
Oh.
Like an iPhone or whatever kind of phone you have.
Like an iPhone?
Like an iPhone.
Like, you know that costs money, right?
Yeah.
But you don't care.
Well, Santa can always give it to them.
Oh,
Santa
right.
can make some at his workshop.
Right. Santa
Like
can
Buddy
do
the
it.
Elf.
Yeah, Buddy the Elf.
Why not?
That's right. You know him?
Yeah.
Oh. You say Francisco?
Francisco.
That's fun to say. So, parents should get their kids full phones?
Well, they don't have to.
Yeah, that's probably not the best idea in the economic sense, because kids throw phones around and don't appreciate them, while parents pay up to $35 or $40 a month for each line.
That's true.
Yeah, all right. So,
Okay.
forget about that. No phone.
Okay.
Parents, no phone.
No phone. No
All right.
phone.
What else?
Don't get them a phone.
What's good?
Clothes.
Yeah, from where?
It depends on what kind of stores their kids like. I don't
Well,
know.
what store do kids like, man? Your kids.
For like my age, probably like Hollister or Aeropostale.
Is that Aeropostale?
Yeah.
All right.
Or
Talking to microphone. Pay attention. You're on the show.
Target. I don't know.
All right. And
I don't
then,
know.
so like, what would be your big present? Like, if anything that you could have this year, what would be the big present you could have?
Either.
We got to have an answer here. Dead air is killing the show, Maggie. Let's go.
Like either a phone or a pair of shoes.
Phone or a pair of shoes?
I don't know.
All right, let the other kid get in there, and let's have a different opinion here.
Okay.
All right. So we're changing expert panel members here. And coming in to join me now, you may remember the name, but it's a different kid. It's Maddie! Different Maddie. Hi, different Maddie.
Hi.
All right, and how old are you?
12.
Ooh, you're old. And what grade are you in?
6.
All right, 6th grade. So same grade, just a little bit older. All right, so you're older. That means wiser, and you're paying a lot of attention around the school. So what do you think of hot gifts that kids are wanting this year? What do you think you would tell parents to get if you were able to disseminate such info?
Well, I'm sure most kids in my grade want phones.
Yeah. Is phone, like you're pretty with it, kid, Maddie, is a phone for a 6th grader something that you think is reasonable, or is that kind of ridiculous? Your parents should know where you are and stop that nonsense.
I don't want a phone. I don't think people need phones. I mean, most people have an iPod or a phone in the 6th grade, but they always want the cool stuff.
Is that because their parents are caving in and they're weak bastards?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't want to say it. That's all right.
I'm not
If I gave you a phone for Christmas, would you take it? You wouldn't say no. Well, you wouldn't say no to a phone if somebody gave a phone to you.
Well, I don't know if I would take. I mean, I would kind of have to take it, but I would say, really? Are you sure you want to give this to me? Like
All right.
It was from you.
So, store-wise, clothes-wise, like, do you think kids want clothes still?
Yeah.
What are the stores? Talk into the microphone.
Probably Aeropostale.
Yeah, that's a hot store, I guess.
Old Navy.
Yeah, you like Old Navy?
Has some pretty fashionable clothes.
Okay. And then if you had your number one gift on Maddie S's Christmas list that would complete your Christmas day right off the bat, if you opened it, you wouldn't need any other gifts. What is it?
Buttermints.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
They're mints that melt in your mouth.
Oh, buttermints?
Buttermints.
Buttermints is your number one gift? A candy?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Are they hugely expensive, like a Ferrari?
No.
Wow.
You could probably buy like 10 packs for $10.
Really? Wow.
I'm guessing. That's my best guess.
All right, so buttermints it is. That's number one on the wish list. For you.
Yeah, for me, yes.
Wow. All right. Well, that's great. I think that if you ever wanted to leave your home, you could come over and live with me. Absolutely. I could buy you buttermints for Christmas. That would be great. No phones. You don't want phones, and you want buttermints. That's great.
Yes.
All right. That's Maddie S., ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies, for joining me here on the show.
You love it.
Thank you. By the way, for those fans of the show that follow, Maddie S. is... well, let me delete that. Is Deputy Corey's daughter. That's right. You know Deputy Corey. Everybody loves Deputy Corey. Keeping crime, ne'er-do-wells, and malfeasance off the street of Lake County, and now the school resource officer for a local school in the Painesville School District here in Ohio, which means he's probably shooting and tasing more people than ever. I'm just kidding, Painesville City Schools. Don't hit me. All right, there you go. Quickly, let me tell you something. You know, rarely on this show do you find an open spot of a partner or sponsorship, whatever you want to call it. So, what am I going to tell you? You've always thought about how do I partner with the Barbecue Central show, or how can I partner, or are there any openings? You know, typically the answer is no. I mean, the people that have been in the partner stable for 3 and 4 and 5 years, they understand. You know, you got to be out in front of these people consistently, that partnering with the show is getting to the target market of your product or service, which is, you know, people that get this show inherently have some kind of an interest, high, medium, or low level in barbecue and grilling. I mean, it's just the way it is. This is why people search out the show, because they are interested in this industry. So you can partner with this show. I'll tell you all about it. You email me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. It's month to month. I don't make you sign ridiculous, lucrative contracts to line my pockets with bags and bags of cash as much as I want to. I'm fair and reasonable. Ask anybody. Give you references to my current partners, whatever. But at the end of 2014, we have an opening, which will go into the new year. I'm sure that will quickly turn around in short order. Greg, did you find out if your jeweler has barbecue Pandora or Brighton beads? The answer is no. But if you call, Matt, if you call Steve at 440-943-2700, ask for Steve and call him, he'll make sure that if there's one available, he will get it for you. Call Steve, ask for Steve. Tell him you're Barbie. What did I tell you? You call Steve, not me. I don't even like Steve. I'm just kidding. I love Steve. Anyway, if you want to partner with the show, give me a call or shoot me an email, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. I'll send you the meaty kit, the pricing. There's only one price. Unless you want to do like a bumper thing like we do with Cooking Pellets or like we did with Sam's Club. You can do that too. But we do have an opening. We'll go fast, and if you're always interested in how you could do that, this is how you do it. greg@thebbqcentralshow.com, or go to the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com, and under About the Show, there should be a link that says Partner with the Show or Advertise or something like that. Boom. There you go. You are all set, and all information will be there for you. All right, we'll wrap up the show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Big B, Moonshine Band, and Suburban Boys Records. Let's go! I'm an outlaw. Give me 2 shots.
All right, welcome back. Point of clarification. Oh, well, hold on. Can't believe I forgot that. Forget about that. Let me bring back the... We got to be getting close to the end here on... No, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. Patrick in the chat room said, what sponsor is leaving? I need to know who not to support. No. It's not like that. There were a few partners that came on the seasonal, and their agreement ran out, and so now it opens. So here's the deal, right? You come on with the show. If you're on, I don't ask you to jump off at a certain point to take on somebody else. We build with the people that we have. So if you are available to come on, we will make something that works for you, whether it's for a month or, however long. All these people started out with me saying, hey, it's month to month. You stay with me as long as you want. And when you're done with it, you just let me know in advance. And boom, we'll finish out the month and you're off and you're free and you're running. In answer to Matt's question, next Tuesday, yeah, of course next Tuesday. Think I'm going to bitch out on you in the last show of the year? No, we're going to kind of take a look back at the show of the year. We'll get some of your calls. We'll probably have some nice succulent guests. Show as normally scheduled, Matt. Come on. Mama didn't raise no bitches. Hopefully you have enjoyed the WPIX Yule Log, which has been playing in the background with nice tunes. End of year awards, Patrick. That's a good idea. I should do that. Next year, starting in January, I need to assemble a core group of listeners that listen to every show, and we can choose like best guest or best pitmaster or funniest moment of the show or blah, blah, blah. Best recipe shared, something like that. If you're interested in doing that, let's have an email powwow and we'll try and put something together. Anyway, this is my Christmas behind me. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. The WPIX Yule Log, which I'll be watching on Sunday, of course. And probably tomorrow as I wrap presents late night because I'm a procrastinator. All right, let's go ahead and get going out of this bad boy. All the way back in the first hour, we had the new 2014 KCBS Team of the Year, Donny Bray, Warren County Pork Choppers, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Recap the year, looked ahead to 2015 if the repeat is in the cards. He did not say that he was going after a repeat specifically, but he did say that he was going to do as many or a little bit more competitions than he did this year, and we'll let the cards fall where they may. Also, we had my mom talk about prime rib tactics. Also, in the second hour, we had Chad Ward, Whiskey Ben Barbecue, whiskeybenbbq.com. Talked about some of the hot moments of 2014, recapped his thoughts on the KCBS Team of the Year, if Sweet Smoke Q would be able to run the table in both. Chad Ward offering a variety of opinions on a number of different topics, and continually being successful in the retailing industry of the barbecue and grilling sector as well. And I want to thank all of you for coming on. Also, thanks to the baddies for coming on and helping parents out with some last-minute gift ideas, if they are too procrastinators of seismic and gargantuan proportions. We will be back next week. We will have a show. Before we get to that, if you have raw cast iron it, season it each and every time. As it starts to cool down, hit it with a grill brush, get all the bits off, and then a little Pam or a little Crisco in, let it burn back in. Generations of rust-free service. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. We'll be back for the Year in Review show next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. Tonight live, tomorrow, Thursday on podcast, whenever. And we'll be back here next Tuesday. Until then, this is your program host, proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.